Let's go, YouTube. All right, what's up there, YouTube? Okay, so today I want to talk to you guys. This is something that we really need to talk about, and it's something that I don't like talking about on YouTube or anywhere else for that matter. When it comes to politics, I don't like to discuss politics with my viewers, right? So, because this isn't a political channel, this is a channel about technology and about, you know, uh, music, technology, uh, motorcycling. It's about the things I'm interested in. But one of the things I am interested in is politics. And I try to stay out of it because, in general, I'm a libertarian. So I don't side with Republicans or Democrats. I side with both Republicans and Democrats fairly evenly. I mean, I side with when I see Joe Biden do something I think is good, I'll say, hey, that was a pretty good thing that he did. Because I don't care. I didn't vote for him. And same goes for Trump or another Republican. If they do something that I think is good, I'll say, he did a pretty good job on that. And the same goes for the negative things. If Joe Biden or Donald Trump do something bad, I'm going to point it out and say, he shouldn't have done this or he shouldn't have done that. Um, First off, let me get to part of the problems that I see with Republicans losing this last major election. So there was an election at the beginning, just a week ago, not even a week ago. They had an election for a bunch of all across the country, different governors, different races across the country, senators, and different things. And Republicans lost big. So in Kentucky, Donald Trump endorsed candidate there, and it's a very Republican state, and he lost to the incumbent, the Democrat. So the problem is the Democrats are saying that the reason why they won so big was because of abortion, because of women's rights, the right to choose. That's one thing. And the other thing is that people just love their policies so much. And let's be honest. We need to, as a country, we need to be honest, okay? Um, a main reason why most of the Republicans lost was because of Donald Trump. Here's a guy who's indicted multiple times for trying to steal the election in Georgia. He literally tried to steal the election in Georgia and other states. He tried to send fake electors. He's being charged with trying to steal the election. The thing that he said was going to happen, that the Democrats were going to do, he literally did. He literally tried to steal the election. I have Democrat friends in Georgia who were very upset when Trump tried to steal the election because they were like, look, I voted for Biden. And now you're going to tell me that I didn't, you know? So it's one of these things where I see the stuff and I'm like, wait, you guys, the reason why you lost is because you made excuses for the guy that did everything that you said you didn't want to do. Okay. I'm going to lay out the reasons. So I was a Republican, just to back it up a little bit. I was a Republican in 2012. I was a Republican delegate in 2012. I made mistakes voting. I voted for the wrong person before. I voted for Bush twice. I voted for him twice. The first time, I voted for him because there wasn't really, you had Bob Barr or something that was running for that had basically overtook the Libertarian. There was no Libertarian for me to vote for, really. I didn't really care for him. So either way, I voted for George Bush, and then I voted for him again because of 9/11 and because of all the stuff. And I believed everything that I heard, and I defended it, and I defended all the weapons of mass destruction stuff, and I defended all the stuff. And I thought, well, yeah, of they hadn't found them yet. They're still going to find them. All this different stuff, right? I believed what they said. So I made a mistake. It's okay to admit when you make a mistake. I made a mistake, right? I voted for, I wasn't proud of it. I voted for somebody I didn't, I voted for him the first time I was proud, I was happy, and I defended him. And then the second time I was like, I voted anyway because I voted before. But here's the point. Admit it. Just admit when you were wrong. It's okay to be wrong. It's not okay to constantly defend the wrong, okay? So if you look at right now GDP under Trump was 2.5 or 2.6%, and he came out bragging about how awesome the GDP was. Oh, we're almost going to go over 3%. Nobody even thought that we could get this high of GDP. That's great. That is good because the GDP was much lower, and he helped. His becoming president seemed to help. But the problem is it dropped and never got over like 3.5% or something like 3%. Well, they just released numbers, the same numbers he was going by, the same people doing the numbers, and the GDP now is like 4 point something percent. It's almost twice as high as it was under Trump. So by all accounts, if Trump was in office right now, he would be elevated. He would be talking about it everywhere, how great the GDP is and how great he is at economics. It's Biden that's president. So let's go back to the reason why Republicans lost. And it's not because they were pro-life, strict, extreme pro-lifeists. It's not because, the deep state and the media, did stuff like Vivek Ramaswamy wants to try and make it out like. The guy's an idiot, okay? Let me be honest with you. This guy, Ramaswamy, raised his hand when he said he would vote for Trump. He would endorse Trump if Trump was the nominee, even if Trump was convicted of a crime. So even if Trump is convicted, he raised his hand. That guy's an idiot. Look, if Trump tried to steal the election and he gets convicted, that's wrong. He should go to jail for it. I don't care if he's Donald Trump. I don't care if he's Ron Paul. I don't care if he's Rand Paul. I don't care if he's some of the people that I've liked, if he's Harry Brown, who was my favorite candidate ever in history. If Harry Brown did that, I'd be like, he needs to go to jail. I don't care. He's not in my pocket. He's not my family member. He's not somebody that I care about. He's a politician. He's a dude that got elected, okay, because he told people what they wanted to hear. He did. He literally told people what he wanted to hear. And if you don't believe me, he's told you that he was going to provide health care for everybody and the government was going to pay for it. He said he was going to eliminate the debt in 8 years. And then he spent more than Obama in the first 2 years before COVID. He spent more than Obama before COVID. And they asked him, why are you spending so much money? You know what he said? Who the hell cares about the budget? You're eliminated from being president if you tell me that. If the first time, I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Independent, you tell me that mention that you spent too much money. If you tell me that who the hell cares about the budget, you're done. I've got zero reason to vote for you ever again. There's no way in out. I'm going to do everything I can to vote against you. But you know what the Republicans did? Made excuses for it. Oh, he had to spend more. Oh, we needed to do that. Oh, really? Well, why did he ban bump stocks? Gun attachments. Why did he ban gun attachments and brag about it? Oh, he had to give that to the Democrat. Really? Because if that was a Democrat, it would have been, oh my God, they're trying to take away our guns. It would have been a huge thing. And rightfully so. It was an attachment for a gun. Whether you agree or disagree about guns has nothing to do with it. It was not part of the gun. It was an attachment that you can add onto the gun. It doesn't matter. It should be legal. There should be no ban on attachments for guns. It's ridiculous. There's two things I've brought up so far. You ready for the third one? Raising the age to buy cigarettes. Okay, so the age to buy cigarettes was 18. So you can be drafted into the military. You can join the military. You can they'll hand you a gun. You can go and defend the country, but you can't buy a pack of cigarettes. You can't buy tobacco. This isn't mommy and daddy government. You're an adult at 18. Trump, okay, I was religious in 1992. I drove a company truck vehicle and I was driving around Virginia and places like that doing electrical work in the 90s. And I religiously listened to all talk radio. First thing in the truck in the morning, I listened to different talk, the morning shows. And then at noontime, at lunchtime, I would listen to Rush Limbaugh. And then sometimes when I was driving from job to job, I'd listen to Rush or whoever was on. But I always listened to Rush. Rush Limbaugh, the godfather of conservatism and Republicans, every single day in the 90s talked about how Bill Clinton wanted to raise the age to buy cigarettes and how wrong it was for the government to be doing that. And that's big government propaganda, big government BS, and attacks on the freedoms of and he was right. He was absolutely right. Because the age was 18. Donald Trump does it, brags about it, and I literally had Trump supporters telling me, well, cigarettes are bad. Ooh, oh, so is drinking, so are vaping. Are you mad? Are you going to get mad if they tell you that you can't vape? Are they going to get mad? So is fatty food. It's bad for you. You want to go ahead and make it illegal. Let's ban that. Let's raise the age to buy McDonald's to 19 because it's bad for you. There's a lot of stuff that's bad for you. It's called freedom. You have the freedom to buy it. As 18-year-olds, you're an adult. You should be able to get an abortion in a certain amount of age, up to a certain months of pregnancy. You should be able to buy cigarettes. You should be able to buy tobacco. You should be able to, anything that's not going to hurt another human being, person, other than something in your body, but this isn't the discussion for that. Anything that's not going to hurt somebody else. So drinking is 21. Because you can get drunk and make bad decisions and get in a car and drive at 18 and wreck into people and kill people. That's why drinking. Smoking a cigarette in your house is not hurting anybody but yourself. Smoking a cigarette out back on your porch is not hurting anybody but yourself. It's not the government's job to protect you from yourself. So now that I've gone through a few things, Republicans defended him on all these things, on his spending, and they had nothing for it. You're like, oh, really? I know Republicans that I know guys that I work with that said, I told them, he tried to steal the election. Oh no, he didn't. They stole it from him. I said, no, literally, his own people, his own judges said there's no information to show. There was zero proof. There was a video. He said, well, did you see 2,000 Mules or whatever? Yeah, I think it was 2,000 Mules. I watched it. I watched 2,000 Mules, and I can understand why people would be tricked by it. But it's trickery. It's It's BS. There's plenty of things on YouTube where they showed that it was one person with a bunch of ballots, and they found the person and said, well, why did you have a bunch? Well, my family member. It was my mother and father, and I dropped off the ballots for them. It's not a big deal. There was a whole bunch. There was a bunch of those. Right? So the only people that tried to steal the election was Donald Trump. I'm sure there was some Democrats that tried to cheat. I'm sure there was some independents that tried to cheat. That people try to cheat. But it wasn't massive. There wasn't massive voter fraud. Donald Trump lost the election. Period. He lost. He didn't get as many votes as Joe Biden. And people are like, well, how could that possibly be? Maybe it has something to do with the guy that you elected, that you defended for all this liberal crap that he did. All this gun ban thing and all this other stuff, and how he handled COVID and how he acted like a child. Maybe it has something to do with that. Did you think maybe you picked the wrong guy? Maybe you picked the wrong guy. I don't, that's all I can think of, because I was a Republican. There's no way in hell I would I would have voted for him the first time. I actually would have, but I had a libertarian that I voted for instead. But there's no way in hell I would have voted for him in the last election. There's no way. You could not force me to vote for Donald Trump. And I was a Republican. I was literally a Republican delegate in 2012. I was a registered Republican. I changed my status from Republican to back to Libertarian after Donald Trump was elected, and I saw that he was doing this crap, and his supporters and the Republican Party were defending it. The crap, meaning spending more money and not balancing the budget and blowing money on huge government projects and coming out with a new branch of the military as if we needed another branch of the military. I don't care what you say. There's no reason for it. It was just a means of, hey, let's make this thing. It's just BS. There's absolutely, growing the government is bad no matter who's doing it. I don't care if it's Donald Trump. I don't care if it's Rand Paul, Ron Paul, Thomas Massey, Bill Clinton, George Bush, Joe Biden, Barack Obama. I don't care who it is. Whoever's growing the government is bad. And having a new branch of the military and a massive spending on the southern border on some wall just because you got to prove that you're, I can build this big wall, big tough guy, is ridiculous. Just admit it. Okay? Just admit it. It's just ridiculous. And until you do that, until you admit that you made a mistake, and until you stop defending it, until you stop, there's one guy out there, and I don't even like him. There's one guy in the Republicans right now that's telling the truth, and everybody boos him. It's Chris Christie. He tells the truth. He's absolutely correct. He's absolutely correct. Donald Trump is a freaking liar. He's a lying, making fun of people's way. He makes fun of, if you start like if I accused him of something, I said, hey, Donald Trump, you raise taxes on the middle class. Instead of defending it and saying, no, I didn't raise middle. Oh, you're a fatty. You're a big fat fatty. Oh, look at this guy. He's big and fat. Hey, you don't even know. And you don't even know what you're talking. Just defend it. Just say, no, I didn't. Here's the truth. Because the truth is, he's right. He did try to steal the election. He did know about it. He knew damn well he lost that election. You know how I know? This is how I know that Donald Trump knew he lost the election. He was in charge of his business. When he took office, he had to pass all that off to other people because he couldn't be running a business and do the thing. As soon as the election was over, before he fought it, he went back to running his business. Why? If he won the election, if he honestly thought that he won, he wouldn't have done that. But he knew he lost. He knew he lost. But then he continued the lie that they stole it. He started the lie that they were going to steal it months before the election. What kind of idiot during COVID, where people are on lockdown and the people can't get out, they're wearing masks and everything, says not to vote by mail? People aren't going out. They're not. So if you tell your people not to vote by mail, to go in person, a lot less of them are going to go because of COVID, because there's a sickness, because people could die. People are getting sick. Instead of doing that, he knew that people weren't going to vote by mail. So they voted in person. But not as many people come out and vote in person. It's a lot easier to put a stamp on a thing and stick it in the mailbox and mail something than it is to get in your car and drive down to the polling place and wait in line. Is it not? Okay? I renew my tags. I renewed my tag on my car tag. I mailed it in. I put a stamp on it. I put the check in there. I mailed it. They mailed me my tags back. Why didn't I just go down to the office and stand in line? Because it sucks going and standing in line. It's easier to mail things in. Everybody knows it's easier. So when Joe Biden was telling everybody, mail in your ballots, and Donald Trump was saying, don't mail in your ballots, they're going to try and steal the election, the guy who said to mail them in is going to get a whole lot more people to vote. That's just facts. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. And they asked, well, why are they such a discrepancy? When I went to bed, Trump was winning, but in the middle of the night, all these other things, because they made them continue counting votes well after closing, after midnight. They made them continue counting, and first they count the walk-in voting, the people that walked in and stood in line. Then after that, they start counting the mail-in ballots. If they count the mail-in ballots second, wouldn't it make Joe Biden get way more votes after they counted all the walk-in votes because most of the people for Joe Biden mailed in their ballots? Yes, that's exactly what happened. It's not trickery. There's no secret society doing stuff. It's your guy was an idiot and told everybody not to mail in ballots. And then he gets surprised and asks, oh, okay. You know why he did it? I think he did it because he saw the polls and knew that he was going to lose. He knew that it was close and that at least close. And he thought, oh boy, this is close. I might not win this. I can't not win. I can't be a loser. So I'll just say, I'll put out that they're going to cheat early on. Oh, they're trying to cheat. They're going to cheat. He started talking about them cheating way before the election. I knew he was going to pull this crap after the election. I knew it. I said he's going to pull some kind of crap about how he didn't win and say that they cheated. And then he turned around and said, don't mail in your ballots, go in person. Mail in your ballots. It's a lot easier and they will get there and people will, why is it okay for the military to have mail-in ballots? That's the military. Their vote counts more than anybody's. Theirs is fine. Nobody complains about the military mail-in ballots. But if you mail in your ballot, it's a bad thing. That's ridiculous. I was just trying to set the record straight as to why Republicans lost. And this is why they lost. I told you. This is why Republicans lost this main thing. And until they change and dump that Donald Trump guy as fast as they can, they're going to continue to lose. He's going to be in prison or in the courthouse for the entire thing. There's no way he's going to win. It's not going to happen. It's ridiculous to think that the guy who's got all the 91 counts, what the hell? He's guilty of some of it. He's guilty of some of it at least. You have to be. He is. They have proof. They have people turning against him right now that were on his side. So it's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm out, and I didn't want to have a huge discussion about politics on here because I'm not a political channel, but I did want to set the record straight for Republicans and Democrats who are sitting here patting themselves on the back, acting like, oh, we won because of pro-life. No, you won because Donald Trump is so terrible, and he's got so much thing, and the Republicans are making excuses for him still, and they're still behind. He's still leading. He's still their nominee. That tells you all you need to know. If he's still their nominee, that's why you won. That's why. And you're going to continue to win. They want him to be the nominee because they like winning. People like to win. Donald Trump is a loser, and he's going to lose again. He lost the election, and he's going to lose again. Face facts. I don't care. I'm a libertarian. I'm not voting for him anyway. He's not my candidate. Neither is Joe Biden. I don't want Joe Biden or Donald Trump. They're both too old. One's 77, the other one's 80 or 78 and the 80, whatever. They're a couple of years apart. They're both senile old guys. I don't want them. I wanted Jo Jorgensen. She would have been way better right now than these two fools. But whatever. Anyway, I'm out. Take it easy, YouTube. See ya.